Mitchell, or you can be like Reynolds and Skiffle. Give it a Johnston and you'll get triple. Pass it to Cleary, you know he'll run the pitch. Score points like Chaboyevich, I'm game day fit, no need a switch. Cooking up like Cookie Man's in the kitchen. Who's that on the wing? It's Sivo. Score, try and do the Gafrino. Don't get too rowdy or too keen or you'll end up like Hassan Tino. Get a 40-20 like BCE. Run the ball like hectic cheese. Support runner, that's Pappenhausen, but I still got Teddy at the SCG.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Final Siren podcast. Really happy to be here tonight. Lockie wasn't able to make it. He's got some other things to do tonight. Obviously, people who have been watching previously will know that Davos hasn't been able to make it the past few times. He won't be able to again tonight. He might be back next week. That's a bit of an inside scoop. We can't promise anything, though. But we're actually going to start off with something different for once. Faraz, you've actually mentioned a random stat to me just before we started this podcast. Would you like to quickly tell it to the chat what a stat this is, by the way?
Yeah, so my stat for this game is that Blake Brayley actually averages 40 tackles per game. So that tells you a lot about how he is as a defensive hooker. And there's only 3 players that have managed to reach the 1,000 tackle mark this year. I don't know who the other one is, but I'm pretty sure it's Blake Bailey and Reece Robson. So as hookers, you need to be really good defensively, and you got to organize that shuffling line. So Blake Bailey does that a lot, and he's been underrated for me if you look at that stat particularly.
Definitely. He's actually might be in the key matchup, so keep your eye out for that. We'll go to that soon. But another thing quite new, we've just added this in. Before the game, we had a little bit of a discussion for us, and obviously the key matchup, we match up 2 people in the same position, show you their stats. But we actually have a key man. We won't show stats for this just yet, but a key man for each team. For Rabbitohs, for me, it's Latrell Mitchell. I just think Rabbitohs are a completely different side when he's in the team. Would you agree with that? And would you like to explain how big of an influence Latrell has on this Rabbitohs side?
There's no doubt that Latrell makes his side a 10 to 12 point better side. Ever since he's come back into the side, they've just been unstoppable. I mean, before Latrell even came back to the side, they got beaten by sides like the Broncos, the Dragons, and all that etc. They struggled to beat the Warriors. So Latrell coming back, he's bringing that experience at the back. He's got that voice. He's got that X factor in him. His running game is unstoppable. His defense at the back. He's an origin player as well. So Latrell is probably one of the best players going around, and he brings that mongrel and passion to the side. And he's the sort of player that you want to go to a game to just to see him play.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to go to a game and watch him play. I don't think I've seen him play just yet. Maybe in Magic Round. I'm not sure if he played during Magic Round this year. If he did, there we go. He didn't. That's right. It was Blake Taff who played. But yeah, definitely. I think I wish I had the stat on me, but I know the Rabbitohs are far better side when Latrell's in the team. I know they get a lot more wins when he's in the team, and I actually haven't written this down. This is just off the top of my head, but I believe that Latrell Mitchell has actually only had 1 loss in finals matches, which was against the Cowboys in 2017 in the preliminary.
He hasn't played a finals game for the Rabbitohs. Speaking of that, he hasn't played a finals game for the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, other than last week, obviously. So this is only his second finals game for the Rabbitohs. First season playing finals for the Rabbitohs, though. So, I mean, you'll have to see what happens tonight. I mean, it's Latrell Mitchell versus not Reece Kennedy. Bit of Broncos bias there. William Kennedy, my mistake. But it's two great fullbacks. But Latrell Mitchell, he's the key man for the Rabbitohs for us. And for Sharks, I don't think it'd be any surprise that it's Nico Hines. He's made the Sharks into a top 4 threat. And for us, did you see him having this sort of impact when it was announced that he'd be playing halfback in his first season in this position?
I knew it was going to work, but I didn't expect for them to gel this quickly into his first year in the season. I mean, that's why I had the Sharks finishing 7th, because I didn't expect Hines to go off the park straight away. I thought they were going to assemble their spine, and that Hines would take some time into the halfback role. It'd be rusty at the start, but he's killed us since round 1, and he's probably been buy of the year. But tonight's the night where he needs to stand up. Last week, he didn't stand up in the crucial moments. He's a gun player, but this is his moment to establish himself as a big name player who can step up in the big plays.
Yeah, definitely. I'd actually argue he did step up last week, but I mean, probably in the moments he needed to completely ice the game. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think he did. There was times where probably should have made sure that he was that the Sharks got ahead there. But I mean, nothing else really to say to it. He's contention for buy of the year. Such a great year for his first year in the NRL at halfback position. Obviously transitioning from fullback. Brilliant player in both
also,
positions.
Also, Nico Hines, I've got a question. Do you think he's going to win the Daily M?
No, for me, it's Ben Hunt because I think the tally stops.
And
at the end
if Hunt's got like 3 try assists, he got a try tonight. You still don't think he goes over Ben Hunt?
Well, I think the polling stops at the end of round 25, I believe.
Okay.
So unless I'm not sure. There's been a few Sharks games I've actually not watched. Was unable to watch them. So, I'm not too sure. For me, it's Ben Hunt and Hines a close second, with Tedesco third for me. But I'm not sure. Hines could have snuck in there without anyone noticing. He's definitely been up to that standard all season. He's been one of the best halfbacks this season. But yeah, it's definitely been a great season for Hines. But we'll quickly go to a key matchup. This one's not new. We've been doing this for a while. But Blake Brayley versus Damien Cook. Obviously for us, as you were mentioning, as we've mentioned every single preview, it's so hard to pick a key matchup when two quality teams like this are going up against each other. You've got Blake Brayley and Damien Cook, which is the one we ended up choosing. Then you've got Latrell Mitchell versus William Kennedy. You've got who else have you got there? You've got the halfbacks.
Cody Walker.
Yep, Cody Walker and Moylan, and then Ilias and Hines. There's a lot of good ones there. I think who's playing 13? Is it McInnes or Finucane? I think it's McInnes.
I think it's McInnes.
So you got McInnes versus Murray. So yeah, some great matchups.
Sexy blokes.
Yeah. But yeah, two very good defensive hookers, as said by Harry Rector. Couldn't have put it better myself, Harry. Thank you for that. Very well defensive wise, and that's actually the stats we'll go into. A bit of attacking stats, but mostly focus on the tackle efficiency of both these blokes here. So Blake Brayley's 2022 stats: 25 games, 3 tries, 9 try assists, 94.9% tackle efficiency. So that's for every 95 tackles he makes, misses. For every 100 tackles he makes, misses 5, gets 595. Sorry, 95 got, 5 missed. Sorry about that. That was a bit of a blunder. But Damien Cook also up there. He's only played 21 games compared to Brayley's 25. But 8 tries, so 5 more than Brayley. 7 try assists, 2 less than Brayley. And a 97% tackle efficiency, which is 2.1% better than Brayley. Who do you see winning this matchup tonight? Because for me, it's going to be so close, and I can't wait to see this. 2 of the best defensive hookers this year.
100%. But these two, I don't know if they've been like too dangerous attacking wise, but defensively they've done a good job, as the stats show. Like with Braylon, 94% tackle efficiency, he's barely missed a beat. Same with Damien Cook, he's got that experience. He's played for the Kangaroos, I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think tonight experience wins. I think Damien Cook will step up in the big moments. Brayley will stick around, but I think Cook will handle those big moments better.
Well said. This is it's a big game for these two teams. Obviously, the loser goes out and doesn't play until next year. Yeah. The winner goes to face Penrith at Accor Stadium, which if the Rabbitohs do win tonight, they'll be going up against Penrith. They'll be listed as the away team at Accor Stadium, which is their home. And I believe the last few weeks they played at Allianz in round 25 against the Roosters, which is an away game, but it's sort of at home. First week of finals at Allianz, which is actually still technically a home final for them. Same for tonight, and then to next week, if they go on to win, they play at Accor Stadium, which is their actual home ground. I just want to quickly touch on the fact that the Sharks are having to play this game at Allianz Stadium. Do you agree with that decision? Because I think that's a bit weird that they would give it to the Sharks at Allianz instead of their home ground where they've earned it.
Well, the funny thing is, even if the Roosters won on Sunday, this would be a home game for the Sharks. So they'll be playing the Roosters at Allianz as a home game. So, look, I definitely can see two sides to the story. I can definitely see why they want to like expand into bigger stadiums because you want as much as fans attending the game as possible because it's finals. But there's a reason why they finished second. They're not here to like win any money. They're here to win the comp. They put their part and soul into this. They deserve it. They've finished second for a reason. They deserve to play at Shark Park, Penrith Stadium, basically. Look, I definitely agree that there needs to be renovation for sure. That they need to get bigger crowds in. But like this year, come on, just let the fans have a win here. Let them play at home. They deserve it. Sharks players deserve it. They came second for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. But I don't see why they have to play. I mean, I get the fact that they have to fill out stadiums. They want to fill out stadiums. But for me, I just feel like if the Sharks have earned it from playing well all year, then why give it to the Rabbitohs? It's basically a Rabbitohs home game now.
They play there for the last.
Yeah, exactly, and they know the stadium. So, yeah, for me,
and also think about the fans. Like, I have no doubt that the Sharks fans will travel, but do they really deserve it? They deserve to be staying at home, enjoying the footy at their local ground, not going for a 2-hour train trip or whatever all the way to Allianz.
Yeah, well said. We'll quickly go into our tips, margins, anytime try scorers real quick. Then we'll go into some same-game multis. Lachlan's actually left one, even though he's not here. I'll actually start off with Lockie's Lockie's tip, margin, anytime try scorer. He's got Sharks 1-12 with Alex Johnson anytime. Pretty safe bet there, I would say, except for the fact that Sharks are actually the outsiders money-wise. But what about you, Faraz? What's your tips, margins, and anytime try scorers?
Before I go on to give my tip, I want to just give credit to both sides. Sharks, they weren't a final side last year. They made the top 4. The Rabbitohs, they lost Adam Reynolds. They lost Dan Gaylor. They lost Wayne Bennett. And they're still here in the semi-final. It's incredible under a rookie coach. So congratulations to both sides. Both sides should be proud of their year. But for this tip, I'm going to go the Rabbitohs. I think the Sharks will be worn out after last week. I think experience will win tonight. I think Cook Latrell will step up. Hines and Kennedy are good players, don't get me wrong. But I think when you come up against those type of blokes, I think Latrell will get the job done. He's so determined right now. I just can't see Rabbitohs losing to anyone else. They beat the Ravens by 16 points. I think they'll continue that trend, especially now that the game's not at Shark Park. I'll still tip the Rabbitohs, but I think South's here. They've played at Allianz as well, so they've got that grand experience. I think Rabbitohs by 10 here. I think Rabbitohs will get the job done.
Well said. For me, it's Sharks. I'm going to go Sharks. I might go an exact score here. I'm going to go Sharks by 4. I reckon it'll be really close. So Sharks 1-12, Sharks by 4. And anytime, I'll get into this in my multi, but I'm going to go Alex Johnson as well. I mean, realistically, if you don't have Alex Johnson to score tonight, you either have the curse that I have, which is whenever I pick him to score, he actually doesn't score. And whenever I say he won't score, he does. Same thing happened last week where I said he wouldn't score and he ended up doing it. So, I mean, hopefully I'm not putting the mockers on him because you will see my same game multi, which we'll go into now. And Faraz can be the judge. Faraz at the end.
I think Nico Hines will score for Cronulla.
Yeah.
I think for the Cowboys, I'm going to go Murray Tulagi.
Cowboys?
Sorry. Where's my mind? I'm sorry.
Out there. No, that's okay.
For South Sydney, I'm going to go Damien Cook from dummy half to bar driver.
I have a feeling he'll get over as well. I'm not going to lie. Lachlan's in the chat here. We're actually going to put a poll up. Faraz, you're also going to be a judge. You're going to decide which same game multi you would be putting your money on. Okay. You got handed $10 and you have to put money on one, or you can actually choose neither as well in the chat. That's what I'm going to put in the poll. So I'm going to quickly list my same game multis. I'm going to put a poll up in the chat for people to answer. You get $10. You're going to choose to put it on either one of these, or just keep the $10 in general. We'll start off with Lockie's same game multi since he's in the chat. He's got Sharks head to head, Alex Johnson anytime try scorer, Ronaldo Mulatalo anytime try scorer, Britton Niokora anytime try scorer, and Latrell Mitchell anytime try scorer. So try scorers galore right there at $44.50 with Sharks winning it in the end. So that's, I'd say, for all the try scorers that you can pick, I reckon that's a pretty safe bet try scorer wise. And then my same game multi, not as much, so just keep that in mind. So if you're putting the $10 on Lockie same game multi, you get back $445. But for mine, not as much, but I feel like it's a bit safer. Sharks head-to-head, Alex Johnson 2 or more. Jesse Raymond, anytime try scorer, and over 42.5 total match points at a 29.25 return. So if you put $10 on that, you're getting back $292.50. That's 292.5 frozen Cokes. So I'll ask the community quickly. I've posted the poll in the chat. You get $10. Whose same game multi are you putting it on? Noah's same game multi, Lockie's same game multi, or you're just going to keep the $10. So that's in the chat right now. We'll see the reaction to that. And a bit of thing in the chat. Faraz, you're actually nicely dressed for once. But yeah, some same game multis here if you want to put some money on it. Obviously, gamble responsibly. Don't chase your losses. Think before you bet. But yeah, so we currently got 50-50 on the poll. Only 2 votes so far. But yeah, so I'm surprised no one picks the keep the $10. Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised by that. But that will just about wrap us up for that part of it. We're going to go into a Q&A soon. We'll just have a little bit more of a ramble on about the game. This one will be a bit shorter, obviously, with 2 people compared to the normal 3. And before we go into just a bit of a ramble about the game, I want to quickly say, if you aren't already, follow our Instagram at the Final Siren Podcast. We post content on there. If you're following already, you would have seen I posted the same game multis just before we started the stream. So yeah, jump on there. The multis posted on the account. I'm not sure if you can see that quite as well, but yeah. Obviously, the content is coming in from us here. We tell you when we post, what times we'll be posting. That's always on the post. But yeah.
I've got a question.
Yeah. What's up?
Okay. So obviously, whoever wins tonight goes on to play the Panthers. And right now, it looks like no one's going to stop the Panthers. Even if the Cowboys make the grand final, assuming they win next week, they probably can't beat the Panthers. Who do you think is more likely to beat the Panthers next week? Would it be the Sharks? Would it be the Rabbitohs?
I'm actually going to say this. I think that the Sharks win tonight.
Yeah.
But this is going to sound really trippy, but I think if Rabbitohs win, I reckon Rabbitohs have a better chance of beating Penrith. I feel like it's the home ground advantage at a core stadium. I feel like they just have, like, if you watched earlier this year, I mean, yeah, Penrith didn't have Cleary, but I mean, the Rabbitohs they nearly won against Penrith. So, yeah, for me, it would be Penrith. I just haven't seen enough from the Sharks.
And Latro's playing as well. They did manage to beat him last year without Latro. Now, and the game's not in Penrith; it's in South territory. So,
yeah, for me, Souths are more likely to win out of all those. But because I think last time the result was 26-22, Penrith winning against the Rabbitohs. But Rabbitohs, they were holding them close to that score the whole time. So I mean, it is what it is. I think. One of the things for me is I think Sharks, they've come across Panthers once this season. Panthers won 20-10, and that was a home game for the Panthers, but I just feel like they haven't got them figured out yet as much as the Rabbitohs have. So I guess we'll see. We'll quickly go into some questions, I think. Maybe. Might do that now. So Q&A is here right now. We've got a few questions to answer, then we'll end off. Just after that, Terry Lamb says, I got Rabbitohs by 12. Yeah.
My 10th son close.
That's a fair bet. I've got Sharks by 4, but I'd be thinking about changing my tip if I hadn't already made the post of the same game multi. Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. They're a different beast with Latrell, man. Definitely. Trelmit adds a whole new dimension to the Rabbitohs. Trell Milk. After milking all those penalties last week, he agreed to name Trell Milk. South 26-20, in my opinion, Sharks can't defend. That's actually that's a fair point.
That's a fair call. They led 32 points to a side that hasn't had any final experience. So yeah, it's a fair call. That's why I've got South personally, because they can score points as well. So yeah.
I mean, I'm going to quickly look at their last five games. The Sharks. They leaked 12 points to the Tigers, which they really shouldn't have. That game.
I mean, that's a bit too high. I mean, it's okay. They've only led 2 tries.
I mean, but they've. Six points to Manly. That's good defense. 40-6 that game. 0 points to the Bulldogs, but at the same time, At the same time, yeah, they only scored 16. I feel like that was a game where they really should have run away with that.
But and I was actually watching it. Matt Burton was off for 15, 20 minutes. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, leaking 16 points to the Knights, though.
They were tied at one point as well. They were tied.
At one point, it looks like the Knights were actually going to win that. I'm pretty sure it was 16-0 at one point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just shows. And then leaking 32 points to the Cowboys in a finals match at their home stadium.
We haven't played any finals in before, mind you.
I have to agree. I think they can't defend. And in fact, Terry Lamb says they let 32 points in last week, and Souths are a strong attacking side.
I mean, Terry's the same. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Sharks can't defend. Sharks can score.
Terry, you might be changing my mind on who I'm tipping here. I'm a few more stats away from changing my tip now. I think Sharkies can score points too as well. Yes, they can. I think Ronaldo Militalo and Connor Tracy on the wings this time.
Well, Hyde has to have a spectacular game for that to happen. If they want to
actually, I think Tracy's gone to centre now. I might be wrong. I'm pretty sure Tracy's gone to centre and Talakai because Talakai's out, so Lachlan Miller wing. Yeah, I mean, Sharkies can still
also,
score
points. What's your scoreline prediction? We haven't got into that. Your
scoreline prediction. I'm going to go.
I've got the Rabbitohs 30 points to 22. I think it'll be a high scoring game.
I actually feel like Rabbitohs might win it now. I'm not going to lie. I'm not sure. I'm going to go. I'm going to go with 2-1. I know that's a bit of a cheat thing to do, but if Rabbitohs win, I'm going to go Rabbitohs win by 10. They win well. I'm going to go. 34 to 24, maybe. That's a big score, but I could see it happening. Actually, I'm going to change that to 28 to 18. Dial it down a bit. And if Sharks win, I feel like it's going to be very high scoring, but Sharks just by 4 points. I'm going to go 34 to 30. Who knows? I'm not too sure about that. I actually don't know who's going to win it all tonight now. Sort of lost all these stats are changing my mind. So keep up the stats in the chat. I might actually change fully. Hines needs to step up.
This is the one game he needs to step up. After last week's, I wouldn't say last week was a disappointment, but this is finals. There's no he played better. We'll come back next week. There's no second chances.
Definitely. Yesterday was boring. It really was. It really was.
And it didn't feel like I don't know about you, Noah, but the game itself didn't feel like a finals atmosphere, and then the game itself, it was just terrible.
As a Lions fan, last night was horrible for me. I'm sitting there watching. Obviously, NRL is my main sport, so usually I'll prioritize NRL over AFL. So I was watching the footy. I'll call this footy.
Brisbane Lions AFL.
Yeah, but I was watching the footy Raiders versus Eels, and I'm thinking this game's terrible. I turn on Brisbane Lions versus Geelong Cats. This game's terrible too. Switch back. I'm switching between them the whole night. And it doesn't get better for either way. It was terrible.
This.
Up the Sharks. Hopefully they get the win for you tonight, Nick. I think, hoping so. Souths will win. Watch. Yeah, I have a feeling. I'm not sure what that means.
It was probably to one of our players, maybe Damien Cook, Brandon Braley. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what MSM means, but underrated definitely. I think Blake's. I think that was Blake Brayley's defense. Yeah, underrated definitely. Underrated. I'm
just gonna say Brad because I think that's the. Yeah, I can't crack it. Correct.
Yeah. Latrell or Tedesco?
I'll still have Teddy. I know. Look, one thing as well I want to talk about as well, that no one's really going to talk about. Last week, I wonder what was going through Latrell when he kicked that ball. When they kicked it straight to him, and it was the first time when he kicked it straight back to him.
Did he think it was old school rugby league right there, or rugby union or something?
I was confused.
Like that?
I was confused because I was on my phone, for a bit, and then I saw that just kicked there. I asked the bloke behind me. I'm like, is that last tackle? He's like, no, he just got the ball. So I don't know whether Latrell was just thinking it's NFL or did he see Emma Lawrence on the sidelines and press? But I don't know. That's another question for another day.
Latrell carried New South Wales last year. As a Queenslander, it hurts to admit he did. So did Turbo, to be fair.
Well, this comes down to that topic about Nathan Cleary and his moments in Origin, but it's a fair argument. Look, a lot of people say Latrell and no Turbo would hurt New South Wales. That is true, but I don't think Turbo would have done much that well because he didn't do too much for Manly. But Latrell is consistent that's why he's one of the best. He steps up in the big moments.
Buy of the year. For me, it's Chad Townsend. I mean, a lot of people say Nico Hines for Sharks, but I just think Cowboys were 15th last year, destined to get the spoon this year, apparently. And
for me, till round 19, it was probably Adam Reynolds, but the Broncos or they took the Schmonkos. So for me now, same reason as I've got Chad Townsend. I think the Cowboys sit for the spoon, and a lot of people doubted Chad Townsend. Remember, everyone's saying that he's going to fail. He even didn't play the same style of footy. He's going to fail. The Cows are going to come last. So it's a complete turnaround.
Hines or Reynolds? I think the thing behind this question was think Leach Dean was replying to Buy of the Year and saying it was Hines or Reynolds. Or but either way, it depends how you ask the question.
If you're asking in general, look, and it's not me being biased, but as a player individually, I'll still go Adam Reynolds.
I think Reynolds when he's on song. Hines as a halfback, I reckon Reynolds when he's on song. Yeah. Hines this year though, definitely. Yeah. And Buy of the Year, I think I couldn't go.
Reynolds beat him back in round 7 or round 8, 1-on-1.
Yeah, I think.
And that's just doesn't say that Reynolds is totally better, but like I'm just saying, I think if you put Reynolds in a better team, you'll see he wins.
Yeah, definitely. 2 good defensive nines, I think he meant to say. Yep. Brayley and he corrected himself to 9s there. Brayley and Cook, definitely. That's the stats that we're looking at. Can't wait for this battle. It's going to be defensive.
Remember last night, embarrassment, but as a whole season, the whole picture, is it a pass year for them? And what do you expect from Canberra next year?
I think, it's a pass mark for them, like you said, but I'm not too sure I expect them to make finals next year. I mean,
I'd be generally honest. This is no knock on the Raiders. They've definitely showed me that they can be the top side on their day, but as long as no one else chokes like the Broncos this year, if Manly or Brisbane or even Canberra, they go into a run, I don't see Canberra making the top 8. Like, they're just not consistent for me.
Well, to think that it was only the Broncos choking the last few games and losing by the amounts they did that got Raiders into the top 8. But congratulations to the Green Machine fans on
they knocked us from Melbourne Storm, so they're my second favourite team.
Does Faraz have a man crush on Cameron Murray? Who doesn't? I'm going to be completely honest here. Who doesn't have a man crush on Cameron Murray? He's one good-looking bloke. I'm not gay, but just pretend I didn't say that. NRL care about money. Yeah, they do, and it's the politics in this game is just stupid. Like the fact that I think this was the fact that Sharks didn't get to play at the stadium. Enjoy the stream, lads. Up the Sharks. Up the Sharks locking. Sharks 13+, like you once said. Sharks 13+.
Sharks will lose tonight, and they'll join these bad boys on Mad Monday.
Wait, so you got a Knights football, a Roosters cap, a Cowboys beanie, a Panthers beanie, a Souths jersey, a Cowboys jersey,
that's another one.
Some Broncos merchandise as well. You've openly stated you like the Storm and Manly and Raiders and Warriors. So, is there any teams merchandise that you don't have?
Gold Coast.
Gold Coast. What about Parramatta, maybe?
Oh, I'm actually getting a beanie next week.
You're getting a beanie next week for this least favorite team. You couldn't make it up. We answered the last few questions. The man is here, says Ben Woodley. I think this is when Lachlan typed in the chat. So, Lachlan, you are the man. We miss having you. Can't wait to have you back. Can't wait to have you back next episode. Faraz actually nicely dressed for once. Yeah.
Oh, when I'm wearing my sport
finally dressed in something that's not sports merchandise.
Hey, what about yesterday? Hey, you?
I forgot what you wore yesterday. I'm going to be completely honest. Buddy56 Serhi says South. I think this was in response to us saying who's more likely to.
What a username, Buddy56 Serhi.
I'm not sure what to call you. If you're still in the chat, Buddy56 Serhi, just tell me what to call you in the chat. I might go with Buddy for now, but if you come up with something else, then that's where I'll just label you. I'll just make sure.
So I'm assuming you're tipping South Sydney tonight?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd imagine so. Who are we cheering for tonight? I'm personally cheering for Sharks. It wouldn't have surprised me if Faraz was cheering for both while wearing his South jersey and Sharks beanie, but I'm not too sure. I'm pretty sure this man had a Roosters cap, went to a game, was cheering on South Sydney, wore the South Sydney jersey when they were losing, changed to a Roosters cap. So not too sure what's happening there with Faraz. So when are you getting the Dolphins merchandise? Is that coming in next year?
Yeah, I remember one.
Yeah. Are you going to get the jersey or just the beanie this time?
Jersey.
Jersey, full jersey. That makes sense. We'll leave a bit more time for any questions, but we might just end it off. We'll give like another minute for questions to roll in, and then we'll end it off. But been a great stream. I'll quickly take this time as well. If you weren't
What's
in
been
here
the best
before,
game so far in the finals? Would you say? Would you say the Roosters,
Cowboys,
Rabbitohs?
Sharks. What's been the worst, or did you say best?
Oh, sorry, the worst. What's been the worst?
Last night. That was terrible. Oh, nothing compares to it.
And I actually tipped Canberra as well, so I even looked more silly. But
Yeah,
I did say Eels could win 13 plus, but I went with Canberra by 8.
Yeah, I think we both said the same thing last night. I think we both said Eels 13 plus or Raiders 1-12. So it ended up being like that. And we'll answer one last question before ending off. Broad Wonder, thank you for staying around till the end. Underrated signing this year. Oh.
I was going to say Corey Jensen, but that's just me being Broncos biased, so I'm going to say someone else.
He's definitely the most underrated Broncos signing this year.
Yeah.
I've got one.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, no, you go first.
I'm actually going to go Cameron McInnes from Cronulla. Not a lot of people talk about Cameron that much. And he's been a workhorse for them every game he's played. Comes off the bench, plays his hard minutes. Even when starting, he's a versatile player. You can play him at 9 if you want as well. So, yeah, I think Cameron really fits into the Shark system.
Well said. For me, it's actually the other team that they're playing tonight. You said Cameron McInnes from the Sharks. Yeah. I'm going Saliva Havili from the Rabbitohs. He's been great. Great pickup from the Raiders. So, yeah, was at the Raiders. Wasn't getting the minutes he wanted. Ended up coming to the Rabbitohs. Since then, he's got a few starts at hooker when Cook's been out. Been brilliant.
I think what Havili's done better than Cook this year has been his attacking game.
Yeah, definitely. I think, but yeah, Havili, he's been, in my opinion, the most underrated signing of the year. But yeah, I can make an argument for Cameron McInnes too. But yeah, but that should just about end us off. We thank you so much for joining this stream. It's been a great one. We should have Lachlan back for the next one. May have Davos back next week. And if you didn't know already, if you're still here, we do have Nick from Australia joining next Thursday to preview both the preliminary games. Should be a cracker. Can't wait for it. Can't wait to have him on. But yeah, that'll wrap us up. Thank you so much for the questions. Thank you for joining. If you enjoyed, make sure to follow our Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the video. And yeah, I think we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
Good night.